everybody. Welcome to the Hallmarkies podcast. Merry Christmas in July. This is so exciting. We are here to preview the upcoming Christmas in July season. It's going to be very fun. I am film critic Rachel Wagner, and Jax from the Bubby Sesh is here.
Rachel, well, we've talked a lot since we've recorded together, but we've not done a podcast since the snake draft.
Oh my gosh. Where does the time go?
Where does it go?
Yes. So, how are you doing? We're so sorry to hear about the news about your show. We're very sad about that, but we're glad to have you here on the podcast. And how are you doing?
Not that I'm glad that you're sad, but it makes me feel good that you're sad in the way that you miss it. So, so thank you for that. Um, no, I think what has been great about this is that obviously it was a huge bummer, and a
Yeah.
bummer kind of sounds like it's an understatement. But I think, and I'm sure you can appreciate this, Rachel, as a film critic or someone who's a freelancer, especially since I've done like theater and acting my whole life. I'm just sort of used to things. Like I've never really had a 9 to 5 job that
Yeah.
was consistent. So for me, not to sound like Little Miss Mary Sunshine or anything, but like I don't really expect things to last that long. So after the first year, when there was a year or two, it was like, this is awesome. So I would have loved for it to continue year 3, year 4, year 5,
Hmm.
because it was wonderful. I also am sort of a hold on tightly, let go lightly kind of person. I'm very into what I'm doing when I'm doing it, and then when that time has passed, it's sort of on to the next adventure.
Yeah.
But for me, it's not the next adventure that like Hallmark's not a huge part of my life. Obviously, it still is because I do think the content is getting better and better, which is part of the disappointing thing about not being
I
officially
bet.
home. Exactly. But now I have time to get to do fun things like this with you and still
Yeah.
celebrating Christmas in July.
That's right. And we plan to have you on plenty. We're excited to have you a part of hopefully a part of our Hallmarkies family going forward because we think you're great.
Oh, I would
And
love that.
so,
I
yeah.
think you guys are great, and I've got to see you in your Santa hat come Christmas.
Yes. That will be there, and we will do the snake draft again, and maybe I'll just have to lead the way this time, and maybe that'll help. I don't know.
Rachel, I was so confident. I'm usually never that confident, and I decided be bold, and then I was not right. So I think I do think you are going to have to take that on.
Yes. um, so yeah, I don't know about you, but I am so ready for Christmas in July. Like it's been a long 6 months. It's been very busy, and I'm just ready to watch some Christmas movies.
Oh, I am too. I'm getting out the twinkle lights, and I've got all my sweaters. So
Yeah.
you put the air conditioning on, put the sweater on, get the twinkle lights ready to go. And I still have some Hallmark wine left from
There you
last
go.
Christmas. So we'll see if I break into that.
It's gonna be fun. Your kitten's not gonna know what's happened.
No,
Like
definitely
what's going
not.
on.
What's happening here?
But it's there's something relaxing about watching a Christmas movie off season. I really think it's true.
Yeah, I agree. And I do think that after we're all sort of getting back into socializing on different levels. And while that's exciting, parts of that can also be stressful. So
Mhm.
the great thing about this now is that rather than last year when I felt like I was sort of trapped in my house and I needed
Right.
this year it feels like it's something that I want to say it's less than I need it and more than I want it, and I can
Mm.
appreciate it because it's a choice to watch it. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah, no, it does. It does that uh yeah, that you're not there's not the sense of isolation like there was last year.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, what else are we gonna do? We're home, of course, it's gonna be on TV now. It's like, "Oh, I get to get cozy and choose to do this, and I could be out in the world, but why do that when I could be
Mhm.
comfy on my couch with my cat?"
Yeah. Yeah. So it's going to be fun, and I also find that I'm a little bit nicer. I mean, I feel like I'm always nice, but I'll when you're watching so many all together, like you end up it's just like a different experience than when you watch one individual and be like, "Oh, this one wasn't that bad. It was better than I remember."
Well, there is
But
less of a sense of even when I'm enjoying something, sometimes things feel like they blur together. You're like, "Wait."
yeah.
Even if it is something you're like, "Oh, I loved about this one. Wait, that wasn't that one." You
Yeah.
know? But this doles it out a little bit more.
Yes. Yes, definitely. And we are so excited because we have a new movie coming out for Christmas in July. So we're going to preview that. And then we are going to each give 5 recommendations for movies that are playing in July. And so the ones you won't want to miss. And yeah, hopefully this Christmas in July movie will be better than the previous Christmas in July movie uh, from 2019, the Christmas Camp, which was not my fave.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't even remember.
It was not good. It wasn't even like a camp. It was like them helping them do household chores and like walking their dog for them, and it was not good in my opinion. So hopefully this
It
one will
did not feel.
be
I will agree with you. There were not, I liked it, but I will agree that there were not camp vibes. There were not
no.
camp vibes.
And there was so much you could do with a Christmas camp. Hello, that could be so fun. And it was just like they're just like helping them do chores and like walking their dog and like judging people. I just I did not like that one at all. But
You're like, "Why aren't they
hopefully,
getting paid for this? Like, this is not Christmas." You're like, "Dog walking rates would be higher than," like,
yeah,
what is the situation here?
that's right. So we have Crashing Through the Snow coming up, and it stars Amy Acker, Warren Christie, Brooke Nevin, and Christian Braun, and director Rich Newey, and new writer to Hallmark Tamar Laddie is the name. And here's the summary. This is kind of long, so forgive me. But it's Maggie and her ex husband Jeff have always been friends first. When Jeff's new girlfriend, Kate, spontaneously invites Maggie along on their Christmas getaway in Aspen, she jumps at the chance to spend the holiday away with her 2 daughters. Maggie feels like a third wheel crashing their Christmas, but she's not alone for long as Kate's hapless brother Sam shows up unannounced with a plan, always seeming to live in Kate's shadow. Sam wants to put an end for that trend. He convinces Maggie that together they can help give her daughters their best Christmas ever, but neither of them is adequately prepared for the blended family challenges that lie ahead or the feelings they develop for one another. So,
Rachel, I am all kinds of excited about this as someone who has divorced parents. I'm like, "Thank
yeah.
you, Hallmark."
Yeah, I mean, this is interesting because I mean, why on earth would Kate want Maggie to be along with the spontaneous trip to Aspen? But nevertheless, she goes and happens to meet the hapless brother Sam.
Who wouldn't wanna be called the hapless brother?
Brother, yeah. It's really good. It's a good summary. Well done, whoever wrote that summary. I I think this does sound fun because we don't typically get blended family stories from Hallmark, and so that could be a really fun dynamic. Plus, you get to have 2 couples that you're kind of following as opposed to just one, which is fun. And I'm sure the kids will be super cute because they always do a good job with cute kids at casting in Hallmark.
They really do. Hallmark does always really get themselves some cute kids who can actually act, which is really nice.
Yeah, they do great. Whether it's When Calls the Heart or the movies, they do a great job. This writer Tamar Laddie, he or she, I'm not sure if that's has Heart of Dixie credits, and then also General Hospital. So he or she has TV credit, and so it'll be interesting to see what they bring. It's always nice when you get a new writer, and it's kind of giving. I mean, I love our faves, Nina Wyman and Tracy Andreen and Julie Sherman Wolfe. These people are incredible, but
Doesn't Nina Wyman have is it the crown for you guys? How many times has she been on the
yeah.
pod?
So she's
Yes.
been on the pod 6 times. Yeah.
Yes.
So her and Catherine Disher are the queens of the podcast.
Well, don't even get me started on your Catherine Ditcher interviews. I've listened to all of them, the latest one multiple times because she's a true treasure, that woman. And
She's
so
the
is Nina. They're
best.
both wonderful. But yeah,
Yeah.
you know how to pick them in terms of like when you have repeat customers, you know what you're doing,
Yeah.
Rachel.
Well, Nina was our first ever that we had. So she's always going to be special for us. She was our very, very first interview we ever did. And then Paul Campbell was our second. He was our first actor that we interviewed.
Oh, he's so funny
Hmm.
too. And they get
Yeah.
along really well, don't they? Haven't they worked together before?
Nina,
Am
oh,
I making
Nina.
that up? Yeah.
Yeah. Nina
Yeah.
and Paul. Yeah. They get along real well. And I feel like Paul would just get along with about anybody. He's so
Yeah.
nice. He's so nice.
And he's
uh,
self-deprecating, which
yeah.
I love.
Yeah. And we I loved having Catherine on the podcast, not only because we love Martha and Good Witch, but she also was in the original X-Men animated series, which I love and adore. And so to get to talk to her about voice acting and her career and everything was just so fun. And
Oh my goodness, she's so
because
great.
animation is my first love, and then Hallmark movies
You're
second.
like if we're ranking it and
Yeah.
she checks both those boxes.
Yeah, I'm like the one who's probably more excited to get to interview people like Andrew Francis and Catherine Disher and Giles Panton and people because they're like incredible voice actors.
You're like, I'm getting it all right now. I get to dip into all of
Yeah,
my favorite
that's
fandoms.
right. Yeah, like if I'd had longer we only had like 3 questions with Danica McKellar when she was on. It was only 15 minutes, I think. But if I'd had longer, I would have asked her about uh, her teen superhero uh, voice acting or some of her other voice acting. Or
Oh,
I would love
right.
to ask Lacey Chabert about her voice acting because she was in the Wild Thornberries and so many great. But
I forgot that
anyway,
she was in the Wild Thornberries until
yeah,
I remembered. And then when you remember, you're like, oh, of course, this is so perfect for
yeah,
her.
it's such an underrated show. Now that we're going totally off topic, but I think you never hear it talked about with all those like Rugrats and Ren and Stimpy, like those Nickelodeon shows from that era, but I think it's
Yeah.
the best one. It's really
Well,
good.
that's sometimes what I find annoying about when certain things come out in the world and you're like, "Oh man, if that was on now," or
Yeah.
certain things come out at a time, whether it's movie, TV, music, where sometimes it gets lost, and then when you look in the rearview mirror or people rediscover it, it's like, "No, it was amazing. It just was
Mhm.
like the right thing, but
Right.
the wrong timing."
Yeah. It's true. Yeah. But I think it's going to be good chemistry between Amy Acker and Warren Christie. What do you think about that pairing?
Yeah, I'm really excited about this pairing. I like both these actors a lot, and I think that it'll be interesting to see how with the kids they're navigating everything because I think especially we saw too even during the pandemic there were some people who were sheltering in place as blended families. And then
Mm.
occasionally families will spend the holidays together and getting the opportunity to watch Hallmark navigate this, I think is going to be really funny, especially with what you're saying too with the dual romances. I always like that too, that rather than this one sounding like an A plot and a B plot, it'll be a little bit more even, if that makes sense. Or at least that's
Yeah.
what I'm hoping.
Yeah. I think so too. And I don't know this Christian Brom, or Brune, sorry, Brune. I haven't seen him in anything,
Yeah, I
but
haven't either.
uh, let's see if he's been in any of their Hallmark movies. I guess he did an episode of Good Witch. Um, I don't
Yeah,
see
it's funny
anything.
watching the actors pop into something, or then you think you haven't seen them before, and then you're like, wait, who
He was in Shuax Christmas.
did
There's a
he play
role in
in
there.
Shoex
He was
Christmas?
probably in the firehouse. Is my
Okay, yeah,
guess.
yeah,
Is my
that
guess.
tracks.
Yeah, and I'm seeing if I see anything else. But anyway, so yeah, that I think they'll hopefully have good chemistry, and yeah, the interactions with the kids will be fun, and so yeah, I'm excited, and hopefully it'll be a nice little new movie for the summer. They don't always do the Christmas and July movies, but I like it when they do. I loved the one with Catherine Bell, the Home for Christmas Day, I think it was called.
Oh, yeah,
I
that
thought
one's
that one
really
was
good.
really, really good.
Well, and
Yeah.
I really like the title of this one. I think Crashing Through the
Hmm.
Snow makes it sound zany. It's a little bit more of a unique title that doesn't, because I think sometimes
Yeah.
there's the complaint that they all sound the same or things like that. No, I'm not saying this is the most original title in the world, but to me, it sticks in my head. And I think, oh, that's interesting. That makes me want to watch that.
Well, and the poster looks a little funny, like with Brooke and Christian making kind of like aghast faces and them
Yes.
laughing and the kids with the reindeer ears on. So it looks like it's going to be a little bit funny and a little bit madcap, which I am in favor of. In fact, we had our patron watch along, which you should all join the patron group for our patron watch alongs. And we had it with Nina Wyman, speaking of Nina, in June, and she said that they're definitely encouraging more humor as part of the sort of changeover that they're doing. And so you feel like you can kind of see this here, and maybe it's a sign of things to come, because they definitely had more humor last Christmas, and I think it's going to be even more so this year. So that's fun.
Yeah, that's really exciting. And I think that as they're upping the humor, they're upping the complexity and the nuance of the storytelling, which is also exciting too. I think that, I mean, there are certain things that are always going to be formulaic, but that is not just Hallmark, that's the genre. And that's part of why we all watch it for
Yeah.
those of us that do. But I think that you can still up your game while checking all those boxes. And I definitely feel like Hallmark Channel is gonna done a good job of doing that this year.
Hmm.
And yet, guys, for those of you who aren't members of the Patreon, I love that you have the watch alongs and that you have really fun people pop in. So you should definitely do that.
And we have I haven't even announced this, but for July, we are going to have Rick Garman is joining us, and we are going to be talking about It's Beginning to Look a Lot Like Christmas, which I think
Oh,
is
that's so
kind of
fun.
underrated. I really loved it, and
Yeah.
was actually very funny as well. So we're going to have him on the let's see what date is it. It's the 17th. We're going to have him on. So you should join the Patreon. It's really fun. We do those every month. Do the watch alongs, and any level can join. Only $2 a month. So I think we really do make it worth your while. And we had Nina on last month, and then the month before we had Michael and Janine Damien. We'll talk more about them. And Lacey Spear came on for about 20 minutes, which was amazing.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I
So
didn't
yeah,
know that. Wait,
yeah,
seriously? That's so
yeah,
fun.
yeah. It was
Was
really
it a
cool.
surprise?
Well, we had talked about it, but I wasn't 100% sure it was going to happen. And yeah, and so then it did happen. I feel like, yes.
I love that you don't wanna the worst is when someone
Yeah,
overpromises and
exactly.
underdelivers, so you were like, "Let me just not say it until it's happening."
Yeah. Sometimes Hallmark could use that advice.
Yes,
They overpromise on certain movies.
and then all of a sudden, we're
Like,
waiting 2 years for
yeah, that's right,
a
for Country
movie.
at Heart or whatever.
Although, great
Oh,
movie. Hashtag worth the wait, but we definitely waited. We're like, "When?"
yes. All right. So, using our when we do our Christmas preview, I don't know if you remember, but we have a scale of something is either a lump of coal, means we're not excited for it at all. We have a sock, which means like a little bit more excited, but like skeptical. And then we have an orange, which is like we're pretty excited. These are all things you can get in your stocking, right?
This
And
is
then
so
the
cute,
ultimate
yes.
excitement is a diamond ring. So what would you give your excitement level for crashing through the snow?
For crashing through the snow, I'm gonna give it an orange,
Yeah.
but, like, a really, really good orange.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes you get an orange in your stocking and you're like,
You're
"Uh"
like Harry and David orange. It's like really good.
Exactly. So that's
Okay.
what level this is
Okay.
for me. I'm not at my top echelon excited, but I'm quite looking forward to it, and then afterwards, we'll see if it turns into a diamond ring, if
Yeah.
that's where I'm at right now. Where are you at?
I think the same. I'll also get the Harry and David orange because I think it sounds interesting, different. It looks kind of funny. I like the stars. Amy Acker hasn't done a movie for Hallmark for a while, so that's fun to have her back. And so yeah, I will agree. The prestige orange.
Yes.
So we'd like to take a second from this episode of the podcast to celebrate our sponsor of this episode, and that is the Hallmarkies Patreon.
Do you love Hallmarkies podcast?
Do you want an inside scoop into what happens on the podcast?
Do you want early access to episodes and loads of cool perks?
Now is the time to become a patron of Hallmarkies Podcast.
By becoming a patron, you get to access our patron Facebook group.
You can request episodes or even be a guest on the podcast.
And most importantly, any patron can join our monthly movie watch-alongs with stars like Paul Campbell, Natalie Hall, and more.
It's as low as $2 a month to join in and become a special part of the Hallmarkies family.
Please consider, and we will love you forever.
Go to patreon.com/Hallmarkies.
That's patreon.com/Hallmarkies.
Right, now we're going to get into our recommendations for Christmas in July. And these are we had to each pick 5 movies that are going to be playing on either of the channels during Christmas in July. And so if ones that we really like Trading Christmas, for instance, isn't playing, so I couldn't pick it. So let's get started. Why don't you go first? Tell us about your first choice.
Okay. So my top pick, well, these are all sort of equal to me, the ones I picked. So I'm not supposed to be saying them in any specific order. Is that
No, no,
okay?
no. It's not like a
Okay, great.
ranking.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. So I am super excited about Christmas Comes Twice. That movie last year was so romantic to me.
Mhm.
The carousel, the chemistry, the science facts. I don't remember what you thought of Christmas Comes Twice. Did you like it?
I did like it. It was definitely a little bit bonkers
Which I
with
just love
the
bonkers.
time
Things
travel and
don't need to
everything.
make sense to me. You know what I mean? Like I feel like you were like because it's your job to be a film critic, right? And for me, like sometimes I don't analyze things, and I'm just
Uh-huh.
like, it's Tamara Mark, and, it's
Yeah.
Michael Xavier, it's Shirley Ralph. Like I'm like it's
Yeah.
zany, and I don't analyze it, but I I really went with it.
Yeah, no, I appreciated the bonkersness. I thought it was fun. I definitely appreciate the whole idea of like having one more time with somebody that you love. Like that always gets me. Uh, that whole concept.
Yeah, you know, yeah. I had seen it. I think it really touched me because my mentor and acting teacher passed away last May, and then this really reminded me of some of the things I wish I could have said to him. So I was getting caught in the feels
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
But then also, like, the bonkersness of that, like you're saying, sort of balanced me not going too far into
Yeah.
my sad feelings. So
Yeah.
I appreciated that sort of juxtaposition with
Hey, and you
this
got to give him
movie.
credit. He waited there for like how long did he wait there for her to be back at this? And he kept
Rachel,
that
oh
scarf
my
all those
god.
years.
I was like, that's the level of love that
Yeah,
I want. I
right.
want this man to wait at this carousel. I hope he's never left or like taken a bathroom break
Yeah,
or like even had any meals. He's just
that's
been
right.
here with my scarf.
Yeah. It reminds me of there's this country song by Justin Moore called "If Heaven Wasn't Too Far Away," and it always gets me every time I hear it because it's all about if he could just go visit his uncle that's passed away or his his family or friends or whatever, and they could just go for the day, and I'm like.
Oh, I don't know this song, but it sounds like it's gonna get me in the feelings because
Yes, it
that's
does.
yeah.
It's so good. And just that idea of like, oh, if I could, just the people you miss so much that if you could have one more day or one conversation or just go for a visit and reconnect, like how amazing that would be. I love that. I love that idea. It's people like all my grandparents have passed now. And if I could, spend the afternoon with them, like can you imagine like and what you would say and what you would do if you saw somebody like that again.
Well, I have
It
I
would.
have a question for you about that. Like, and this is what was interesting in this movie. Like, would would you be trying to have these very profound moments with, say,
I,
your grandparents, or would you just want a regular day? Because in this movie, she doesn't know that she's passed. You know what I mean? So I
yeah,
was wondering, what would you, if you thought about it, what would
well,
you say to your grandparents?
I mean, I do feel like you would at least tell her about the heart condition thing and kind of maybe give her a heads up, but but
By the
but
way.
but yeah, I don't know. I think you would want it to be like something super meaningful, but for them it's just every day. I remember an interview with Roger Ebert where film critic, where he said somebody asked him, well, what was the last thing you said before he lost his voice? He had to speak through a computer, and he's like, I don't remember because I didn't know it was the last thing that I said. And I think that that's
Oh wow.
that's very true, that to life. And it's like uh the great play Our Town, and if you ever heard that, but
Oh, I love
that.
this. It's my favorite play. I did it in
Oh,
college,
really?
and
Yeah,
yeah, and
because
I just love. Oh yeah.
Emily, she tries to pick something that will be very easy, and she don't think it'll be something very simple. So she picks her 13-year-old birthday, and she goes back and she's just crying by the end of it because there's so many moments that everybody's taking for granted and that they don't appreciate and that mean so much to her now, that she has that distance, and I think that's very true.
Oh, I love that you brought that up because when she says, we don't even have time to look at one another. I mean that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's man. Now I need to go read or see that play again.
It's so good.
It's so good. It's one of
If you.
those that, like, people it was one of those plays that it's like, it got done so many times that people forget how profound it is, and it's like,
Mhm.
no, that play is a stunning thing of beauty. It is so
Yeah.
good.
Oh, I'm like a real sucker for anything that's like the afterlife or like there's a really good movie that I saw last year at Sundance called 9 Days that you want to keep an eye out for. It's coming out this year. Really good, about this way station in between where you get to decide whether you move on to the next level, or you have to go back. And another one I love is called Defending
Oh.
Your Life with Albert Brooks and Meryl Streep. Have you ever seen
No,
that?
no, I've
Oh,
never seen that. Oh, I would love this
hilarious.
though because I
It's
love that
really good.
content too.
It's Albert Brooks, and he's a like a talent agent or something like that. I forget. But anyway, he gets in an accident, ends up going to this there's this midway station, and wherever you however you lived your life, the hotel is appropriate to your life. And so he's in this like 1970s like kind of rundown like type of place, and Meryl Streep, who died saving a child, and all this stuff, she's in this like super luxe fancy. And the
She's
whole
like,
the
"Ooh,
whole
here we go."
idea, yeah, the whole idea is that you go on trial and you have to defend your life. And if you don't pass, then you have to try again. And they can go to the movie theater and they can look and watch their previous lives of all the different times they've tried and failed. It's really good. It's very, very, very,
I
very good.
cannot believe I've not seen this movie. It
Yeah,
sounds so good.
it's really, really good. And it's a romance, so people should see it. But I love stuff like that, those kinds of movies. I think it's so fun. But anyway, I think it's a good pick. It's an unusual pick. It's something different that they did, and it was certainly a step up for Tamara, because I did not like her first film for Hallmark, and so this was a pleasant surprise.
Oh, I definitely like this one better. And I think that Tamara, this one was such a labor of love for her, and that like she produced it. Like she thought of
Mm.
the idea, the concept. And I think that that is also why I think it resonated with a lot of people, because so much about it was just so true.
Yeah,
It just felt like it was sitting right in the pocket for her. So I'm really excited to
yeah,
get to see it again.
yeah, definitely. And that one is playing July 10th at 11:10 Central in the morning. So people should set your DVRs now.
Start your day
Um,
off with it. Yeah, have a little bit of coffee.
yep, that's right. All right, my first choice. We mentioned the director Michael Damian and his wife Janine. They wrote this. It's The Christmas Waltz. This was I think the best movie from Hallmark last year, and it was delightful. It's after Avery's storybook Christmas wedding is canceled. A dance instructor helps her face her fears in life and fulfill her dream of learning to dance. And it's Lacey Chabert and Will Kemp. This is their second time working together. And I just loved the little bit of whimsy that is thrown in here. The whole dance sequence when they're dancing down the street was magical. I really liked their chemistry. I loved little moments like when he's playing, basically being kind of Charlie Chaplin. I
Yes.
think that was so great. And I thought there was a little bit of humor. The movie didn't take itself too seriously, like when she's like she's making him breakfast. It's
Yeah.
terrible. That was funny. I just adored it. We watched it again for the watch along, and I adored it once again. And I think it's totally worth a rewatch. It's so good.
Yeah, this is one of those movies where especially with Hallmark making, 40 new movies each
Hmm.
season, everyone's always going to have their favorites, but this is just objectively a very good film. You know what I mean? I just feel like it, like that scene that you're talking about where they're dancing in the street, it is absolute divine magic. And then her character arc is really interesting too, all the things that she's trying to overcome. And they are very, very charming together. Like Will and Lacey have really wonderful chemistry. So yeah, this one is super exciting on all fronts. And I know that during the live tweet, I think Twitter was on fire when this movie
Yeah.
was on, because so many people were so excited to watch it. It's truly fantastic.
And their relationship built really nicely. And I also loved her best friend in the movie, and I like the fact that the movie took time to have the two of them, just be decorating her tree. And so it didn't have to be with the love interest, it could be just with her friend. I thought that was great. I really liked her parents. Laura Solstice is really fun, love her. I thought they were good, and I don't know, just overall, it was really good. I mean, the only I guess nitpick is that she does fall for somebody pretty quickly after being engaged, but I was fine with that.
Really, no, it's okay. It's totally fine. I think the only reason why that doesn't bother me is because it, it it was one of those movies where it's a little bit more clear that she really was engaged to the wrong person. You know, like in old guard Hallmark days, it was like the other person was always sort of the villain.
Yeah.
But that wasn't necessarily the case in this one. Now they're going towards, again, a little bit more nuance. But what I liked about this is that it wasn't that we were like, I don't know who should she be with. Like her ex-fiance had a little bit of that toxic masculinity where
Oh my
he's like
gosh,
confronting Will Kemp's character.
he was a villain though. When he goes and
Yeah,
tries to break them up,
not okay.
woo! Yeah, you're like, well, Jeremy Gilbot is news. Yeah. Oh,
It's like,
very.
no, 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 boo boo. This is not okay.
No, it's not. And so this is July 13th, 9/8 Central. So it's an evening one and it's delightful. People should definitely watch it. All right, what's your next pick?
Okay, this will come as a surprise to no one. I'm obsessed with this movie, Road to Christmas. I love
Mm-hmm.
Cardi Wong. Obviously, Jesse Schramm, Ted Michael Murray are great too, and Terrell Rothery. I mean, this entire world and Zach Hug is such a fantastic writer. We've got kittens, we've got humor. This movie, it made me laugh so hard. It's so well written. The performances are really, really great.
Yeah, if we had Jessie Schramm on recently and did a ranking of her movies, and this was my top of her Christmas movies. I was my favorite of hers is The Birthday Wish, but then this is my number two, and this was my favorite Christmas movie of what was that 2018? I think
Yeah, was
that
it
year it
18
came
or
out
19? Yeah. Was it?
to
Yes.
Christmas.
Yes. I think that
Yeah,
was my favorite that year too.
it's really good, and I just love the whole road trip element of it, and I loved the relationship between the brothers and like little things like the fact that Chad Michael Murray had been sending food to Cardi Wong all these years to just help him, and I
Yes.
don't know, just I really bought these three as brothers.
I absolutely did too. And I think
Mhm.
his name's Jeff Gonick that plays the third brother. He has that
Mhm.
line that makes me laugh every time, Rachel. He's like, Merry Christmas, you old farmhouse. Or wait,
Yeah,
is he playing the other brother or is he playing yeah, he's the third brother, right? That has
yeah,
done like theater and stuff. So
right,
every
yeah,
time that makes me laugh. And
yeah.
I'm really excited for a rewatch of this one.
Yeah, it's really, really good. And basically, they're all trying to get to surprise their mother, who is doing is Christmas specials like a Martha Stewart type. And you know that it's an unusual Hallmark movie because she's making her staff work on Christmas. What is that? That's usually a
Julia
villain.
Wise,
A
when you
villain.
work for Julia Wise, you needs must work on
That's
Christmas.
right.
That's what happens.
But I love when Jessie sings "Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas" at the end, and because she just sings it like a normal human. She's not all like ooh like they do
Oh, I know.
sometimes.
It doesn't sound no, that's I love okay, so by the way, I love the way you said that because that's exactly what I was thinking. It was like
Yeah,
it's not auto-tuned, it's not
yeah,
that thing. It's just really it's
just
beautiful and simple.
yeah, agreed. Yeah, good choice. All right, my next choice is it's Christmas Eve. And this is stars Leon Rimes and Tyler Hines, and directed by Tibor Takas, and written by Tracy Andreen, who is so great. And
Yeah, she's really good.
yes, and so it's an interim school superintendent finds herself in a tough spot when she is assigned to shut down a school's failing music program and must come to terms with her musical past. So that makes it sound more boring than it is.
I mean, when you get Leanne Rhymes
It's
and
just
Tyler Hines, so you know it's gonna be good.
yeah, the relations between the two of them and the script from Tracy and Doreen is really fun. She has a lot of sort of meta moments where she's talking about did we have our meet cute, kind of a thing,
Yes.
and that's really cute. And I thought that it was cool that Leanne Rhymes didn't do all the singing. She allowed other people to sing, and that was fun. And the little girl was great. And
I love
the
that you pointed that out because I'm gonna be honest, if I was Leanne Rimes, I would do all the singing.
yeah,
But
I know
yeah,
that's right. And the ending was so swoon worthy, really great. Tyler Hines, he's just swoon worthy. It just is. Like he's so
I feel like this came out, Rachel, also before we knew what we know now about Tyler Hines. Like he was
this
already
was his
like a
second.
quite a poppy. Is okay, so what was
Yeah.
the first? I can't
The
remember
first
his
one was
first.
Falling for You, which I still love and adore.
Oh yeah, no, that one's
Yeah.
okay. So that one is really good, but I feel like he's got this like dynasty around him now. He's got the Heinies,
Yeah,
but
he
we didn't
does.
quite have that level yet.
Right. Yeah. No, we did not. This is just a fun little Christmas movie with a good script uh and good likable leads. And so this is July 19th, 11:10 Central in the morning. So what is your next pick?
Okay, so my next one is a Christmas duet because I am really obsessed with Chaley Rose.
Yeah.
Rome Flynn is great too, but like Chaley Rose, this girl has my heart.
Yeah. And this, oddly enough, this is the only one of our picks that is directed by a woman. The rest, for some reason, all of our picks, we just didn't have. So that was cool. I'm
Wait,
glad that you picked it.
I didn't even
Yeah,
realize that.
Catherine Kyron, and I think that Hallmark must have had a really good experience with Jaylee because it just seems like they really love her and really want to use her. I mean, she's great. I mean, we've interviewed on our show, and she was wonderful. So I think that that's a good fit. They found a good fit.
Yeah, and I love the music aspect of it, of course, and I just think
Hmm.
that she's someone I've really loved following her career. I love the things
Yeah.
she believes in. Last time we got to interview her, she offline told us about a crush that she had on someone that she wanted to date in real life. So I won't say who it is, but every time I see this person on TV, I'm like, I'm thinking about you, Chaley. I'm shipping this. So maybe she'll get her a Christmas wish this year.
Yeah, you'd be like, heads up. Thanks.
Who wouldn't want to date her? Maybe she's dating someone
Yeah,
now, but I mean,
just
look at her. She's
gorgeous.
just, yeah, everything about her, her energy. And she also is someone who, and this may sound like it doesn't go together, but she has such a warmth to her, but she's also very cool, you know? Like she's
Yeah.
not she's not trying to be something other than what she is, but she's got this natural warmth both on screen and off. So yeah, I'm just a big fan of hers, and I really like this movie. And
Yeah.
yeah, Rome Flynn's pretty easy on the eyes too, I
Yeah.
will say.
Yeah, I haven't seen this one in a long time, so I should check it out when it airs because I remember enjoying it. But it's July 18th, 11:10 Central. So people at 8 in the morning, people can take a look at that one.
That's one you really got to get up for.
Right. All right. My next pick is the first 5-star, 5 crown score that I ever gave on this podcast. It is Miss Christmas, was a movie that I loved, and I still love it to this day. And it stars Mark Lucas, Brooke D'Orsay, Fiona Vroom, and directed by Mike Roll and written by Joa Boken, who is really great. She's done
Oh,
some of my
yeah.
favorites. She did, of course, Miss Christmas, and then she did the Love in Store, which I really thought was good, and also Falling for You. She did, which I loved, and she just recently did her pen pal, which was so good.
That was so good. I have a confession to make about Miss Christmas. I've never seen it.
You never seen it? Oh my gosh!
No. This is wild. So this is a new movie for me.
Because
I'm
this was
really
before you
excited.
guys were started the podcast.
This is
Because this was
I'm really
2017, I
excited.
think.
Oh my goodness. And when I
Oh, it's
saw
so
that,
good.
so when you just said this, I was like, wait, so I remember and also I love Fiona Vroom too. Like all these actors are great. But I'm really, really excited that I'll actually get to have another new movie this Christmas. And the fact that it was your first 5 crown rating, that makes me extra amped because
Yeah.
obviously I'm gonna like it if you liked it.
Yeah. It's so good. And it's basically about she's in charge of picking the giant tree for the center of the city that I think it's supposed to be like Chicago or something like that. Anyway, it's like the Rockefeller tree for Chicago. And she finds this tree that is on the land of Mark Lucas's land, and but it was like planted by his wife who's passed away, so he's got totally hot widower trope going on big time, and he is so charming and swoon-worthy in this film, and they have a great chemistry, and it's definitely the best movie Brooke Jersey's ever done for Hallmark, in my opinion. And
She's such a
they,
cute guy.
yeah, and so it's just it's really good. He doesn't want to let go of the tree. The other thing I liked about it is that she doesn't have some like horrible boss who's like, unfeeling, like an ice queen of business. Like everybody's normal and nice, and Fiona Vroom is her colleague at work, and she's great, and so it's so good. I love it.
Wait, sorry, I think you already said when is this one coming on? Because I really
This
need to
one
make sure I do
is
not miss this one.
Yeah, this one's July 12th, 11:10
Okay,
Central. So put it
okay.
on the DVR.
Okay, now because like obviously I'll be watching a lot of these, rewatching a lot of them, but this one I need to see because I've not seen it.
Yeah, yeah. All right, what's your next?
Okay, so the one I'm gonna go with next because you just introduced the Mark Blucas vibes. Good Morning Christmas.
Nice. Yeah.
Y If you want yourself a Mark Blucas marathon, we're here. So yes, Ali Sweeney, Mark Blucas. This one made me so happy last year. They're
Yeah.
the hosts of a morning show, and they have that sort of moonlighting chemistry that I really like, the snap, crackle, pop if they don't get along, but they
Mhm.
have chemistry when they're on TV together, but then you see that the show, like, the premise is that the show is, gonna be coming to an end, um, and she's this real type A personality. He is a former sports star. But then you start to see, okay, they actually have some chemistry together off screen. So I just love this one. And I love the whole concept of the morning show. I'm really into watching. Um, I love when I get to see people do jobs that I'm very invested in, that I want to kind of go behind the scenes. And I thought that this was a really fun one for that.
Yeah. It was really, really good. I First of all, this movie looks beautiful. Like all the decor and how they decorated this hotel is
Oh,
gorgeous, and their
Rachel,
individual like
yes.
trees and their suites and stuff is so beautiful.
Yeah,
And
the sweets look great, and, like, even the heartier foods, like, there were some meals that they would describe that I was like, "This sounds really good."
yeah. Well, and it had a really great cookie making sequence because it actually mattered to the story because they had to be able to do the cookie making on the show. So they were like practicing and they were making the cookies, then they were bonding as they were making, the cookies, and so I think that whole scene was really good when they were making the cookies. And
Yeah, and I
uh
love how you pointed that out because it wasn't just a, eh, random cookie making scene because they had to do it on the show, it felt like it had even more sort of
yeah.
intention and purpose, which totally works.
Yeah. Yeah, and I just liked all the little things that they had them do as part of kind of getting to know each other better, and yeah, it's charming. Some people didn't like the ending, but I was fine with it. And I they are just so good, Ali and Mark, and they had great chemistry. It was one of my favorites from last year as well. And we interviewed Riley Weston, the writer, and she's really fun. And she had done the she hadn't done a Hallmark movie in a long time. But
She is so great. I
yeah,
just and I love following her on social media too. I always feel like she's
yeah,
doing really fun stuff.
yeah. She it is always she's got like music and writing and she was a very good interview. I really enjoyed talking to her, and she did one of my favorite. Uh, she wrote one of my favorite Hallmark movies, The Nanny Express, from way back in 2008. That have you
Yes.
seen that?
Yes.
It's
That one's really
good.
good.
It's really
I
good.
haven't seen it in a hot minute, but yeah.
I like that a lot. It's really good. All right, very good. My next choice is a little bit of a throwback. It's Charming Christmas, and this is stars Julie Benz and David Sutcliffe. It's from 2015, so way back in the day.
This
Uh,
is vintage Hallmark.
yeah. Um, but it's about Julie Benz. She plays this woman who her parents own this department store, and she goes back to work at the department store to help her parents. And there is this man there who may or may not be Santa, played by David Sutcliffe. And she ends up kind of becoming Mrs. Claus in
That's what
the
I was gonna
thing.
ask. I was
Yeah.
wondering if this is what I'm thinking
And
of. Okay,
and
yes.
she's kind of cynical about it, and of course he is very optimistic. And the cool thing about this one is that it's not just her story, but there's also the other employees that work in the department store. So there's this one woman who's a single mom, really struggling for Christmas. So there's like her story, and there's a couple other stories. And then her parents and her kind of renewing her relationship with her parents, and they're going to sell the department store or whatever. And so it has a lot of tropes, but like it has enough whimsy to be charming and to really work. And it kind of has those Miracle on 34th Street kind of vibes with this department store. And I really enjoy it. They don't do much Christmas magic anymore, and I think this one is a really solid one. And I like the two leads.
Yeah, and I love a bit of Christmas magic. Like, I think as we are going into, these more complex storylines and things like that,
Hmm.
which is great. I still hope that Christmas magic will continue to be incorporated because that's part of the reason why I watch these movies.
Yeah. And this one is actually on Hallmark Movies and Mysteries. It's on June 27th, 12/11 Central. So, uh,
And Rachel, I believe if this poster is the poster that I'm thinking of, his Santa hat might rival yours.
how dare you?
So, not that it's a competition or anything, but and you have a pretty great Santa hat. So,
I do.
I'm just saying.
Very proud of my Santa hat. Yeah. No, it is a good one. And he and Julie are really cute in the movie. So, all right. Well, what's your next pick? Your last pick?
Okay, so my last pick, Nine Lives of Christmas. It was the origin story for the Bubbly Sesh when which Shaw and I bonded over that initially. And I mean, come on. We all know
Yeah.
you can't go wrong with cute firemen, adorable cats, Kimberly Sested being hilarious and being, even though she's the perfect Hallmark Channel lead, like she's wearing a big puffy coat. She's buying too much ice cream. Like she to me is a much more relatable lead for how I live my life and I like
Yeah.
seeing that reflected back at me.
Yeah. And she she is going to school, and I don't know, she's just there's a lot of things that make her just very easy to relate to.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, she's juggling a lot of things, including a landlord who doesn't want her to have a cat.
Yeah. Yeah. And Brandon Routh, of course, is super charming in the movie. And uh their relationship, I mean, just their almost kiss is so good. And
Oh, it
then
is
when he
so
does
good.
kiss her is really great. And the whole scene at the party is really done. You're like, oh
Yes. What well, and I also like that this was more of the era, again, of, like, the villain, girlfriend, and Chelsea
Oh,
Hobbs is
yeah.
really funny. Like, she's
Yeah.
really, really good at being a straight up villain in
Yeah.
this.
No, that's very true.
Like, there's no redeeming
She's like
qualities in the
she's
best
like
way.
heading towards Cruella de Vil territory here. Like, the way she's treating those cats.
She really is. Like, when she lets the cat out, wait, it was Queenie, and then I can't, oh my gosh, I can't remember
What's the
his
other
cat's
one?
name.
Darn it.
Queenie
Uh,
and oh, someone knows. Someone definitely know.
yeah.
Oh my gosh. She
I can't think of it.
she opened I mean, that that you're like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 back this up." Like,
Yeah.
but that is the beauty of this movie. It made me laugh so hard, and then all's well that ends well, that everyone's fine. But yeah, you're right. Absolutely Cruella de Vil vibes here.
Yeah, it's a classic. There's no denying it. Well, then that's on July 9th. I mean, that's on July 9th, 5/4 Central. So get that on the DVR if it's not already. All
Mhm.
right. My last choice is also considered a Hallmark classic. It's Snow Bride. And Snow Bride, it's my second choice, written by Tracy Andreen of the Five. So she's a rock star.
It's so good. Total rock
Yeah.
star.
And it stars Katrina Law, Jordan Belfi, Patricia Richardson. And did you know that Katrina Law and Tracy Andreen are sister-in-laws?
Wait, I did not know
Yeah,
this.
they are. And we got to have them both on last year, and it was a riot. It was so fun.
Oh, you know what?
Oh,
You
yeah.
know what? Now that you're saying this, I think I did know it because I listened, but you know something is in the recesses of your mind and you, like, forget it because there's so much going on around
Yeah.
Christmas? That is
But
so funny.
this is I mean, we should all be grateful for nepotism
Mhm.
because Trina Law is absolutely great in this role, and it's a great script from Tracy. And Katrina plays this gossip writer who is looking into this Kennedy's like family, and she ends up getting kind of stumbling upon them in this wedding dress through various shenanigans. And and there's sort of a fake fiance plot, and it's just fun. It's a funny movie. She's great in it. And it's got a nice spirit of family also in it. And so I think it's definitely worth checking out.
Yeah, Katrina Law, she's so authentic on screen. I mean, and off. She's
Yeah.
just a really, really good actor. And I like that Snow Bride definitely leaned into that. What you're just exactly what you're saying, the shenanigans. It leans into that and doesn't take itself too seriously, which makes it an even better movie. I love that.
Hmm. Yeah. Me too. It's just very entertaining to watch. So there we go. And this is on July 24th, 1:12 Central. So that's our 10 recommendations for this upcoming Christmas in July. And so, yeah, let us know if you're listening what you are looking forward to for Christmas in July. And thanks so much, Jax, for coming on and talking with us.
Rachel, thank you for having me. I can't wait to do it again. I can't
Yes,
wait for a reunion for the snake draft, but hopefully we'll get together before then.
definitely.
Because I always love being on the show and I love listening because yeah, you make me smile and I always love
Aw.
your hot takes on things. And I always get good recommendations from you as well. Like now I've got to watch the Meryl Streep movie.
Oh, yeah, you'll love that. It's really fun. So there we go. Thanks so much. And where can people find you, follow you on social media and all that fun stuff?
They can find me at Jacqueline Collier on Instagram and on Twitter at Jacqueline C Tweets.
Great. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all of our social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. So check that out. And then also make sure you're following the podcast to Hallmarkies Pod and Hallmarkies Podcast, all our social media. And if you are listening on iTunes, please leave your ratings and reviews. It really helps us out. And if you are listening on YouTube, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. We appreciate that so much. We also have our Patreon group, like we talked about, that's really fun. And you get to be part of our Facebook Patreon group and get to help us come up with ideas. And we chat about whatever we've been watching. And then also we have the watch alongs, which are really fun. It's only $2 a month. It's a no brainer. You should definitely join. And we also have our merch store, which has tons of cool designs by artists like Jessica Miller, and they're really fun. So check that out. And thanks so much. And we'll talk to you all later. Bye, everyone. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.